Anti-Immigration by Evie Shockley. The black people left and took with them their furious hurricanes and their fire-breathing rap songs, melting the polar ice caps. They left behind the mining jobs, but took that nasty black lung disease and the insurance regulations that loop around everything concerning health and care. Giant holes of text that all the coverage falls through. The brown people left, and took with them the pesticides, collecting like a sheen on the skins of fruit. They went packing, and packed off with them went all the miserable low-paying gigs, the pre-dawn commutes, the children with expensive special needs, and the hard-up public schools that try to meet them. The brown people left, railroaded, into carting off those tests that keep your average bright young student outside the leagues of ivy-lined classrooms, and also hauled off their concentrated campuses, their great expectations, their invasive technology, and the outrageous pay gap in between the company's CEO and his not quite full-time workers. They took their fragile, endangered pandas and species extinction and got the hell out of Dodge. The black people left and took HIV/AIDS, the rest of their plagues, and all that deviant sexuality with them. They took their beat-down matriarchies and endless teen pregnancies too. Those monster-sized extended families, the brown people took those. The brown people boxed up their turbans and suspicious sheet-like coverings, their terrifying gun violence, cluster bombs, and drones. They took the whole bloody mess with them. They took war and religious browbeating tucked under their robes. They took theocracy and their cruel and unusual punishments right back where they came from. Finally, the white people left, as serenely as unburdened as they arrived, sailing off from Plymouth Rock with nothing in their hands but a recipe for cranberry sauce, a bit of corn seed, and a dream for a better life. There were only certain kinds of people here after the Exodus. They left to wander the underdeveloped wilderness in search of buffalo, tobacco, and potable water, following the old migratory patterns that would have been better left alone.
First impression of the poem before reading it was that she was going to make a politically charged argument against racism and people who are against immigration. However, I was very thrown off by the use of stereotypes and negative things associated with certain ethnic groups. For example, the use of fire-breathing rap music is a personification that says that black people spit fire or spread a negative message to the rap genre. Or other negative things like saying the black people left and took their HIV/AIDS and the rest of their plagues and all that deviant sexuality with them. They took their beat-down matriarchies and endless teen pregnancies too. Or saying that Hispanic people just do grunt work jobs, or Middle Eastern people are religious fanatics and terrorists. The mood seems to be kind of preachy. Talking about serious issues made the previous mentioned Exodus scenario seem very serious. The tone of the author seemed serious and also kind of racist and xenophobic. However, I learned this was not the case. In line 30, there is a shift. It seems to have a tonal shift from pointing out the negative things about one race to highlighting the positive things of another. The poem is an expression of the author's frustrations with the current state of the world regarding to immigration. She expresses how ugly the world would be without everyone. The explicit or obvious message is that there are people who believe these negative things associated with certain groups of people and use them to justify their hatred for them. The implicit or more hidden message is her view of how the world would be without them and how there are still a lot of disadvantages and troubles that most minorities face because of racist and intolerant people. The ideal audience for her would be the people who share her opinions and views and frustrations about how disadvantaged immigrants are in America. To be honest, I unexpectedly enjoyed this poem. I'm not much of a poetry guy or a reader, really, but this was an interesting read. I personally relate to it because most of my family are immigrants from Mexico, and a few of them came to this country undocumented and had to struggle until they eventually found a way to get their papers. So I know how much they've struggled and still struggle because of things like language barriers and cultural differences. I do not fully support open borders because it will facilitate drug trafficking. Not that I care much about the drugs, but about the violence that drug trafficking organization thinks they can just inflict on innocent people. And opening borders might make their power grow. But I do believe that people from other countries like Mexico come to the United States in search of a better life.